So, this human being, we understand this is human being. Human being means five aggregates. According to ultimate truth, five aggregates. And conventional truth, this is human life. This is human life. This is men, women, boys, girls, something like that. Even though we are understanding human being, life, boys, girls, that is five aggregates only. Aggregates mean Vijnana, Namarupa, Salayirana, Asa, Virana. They are called five aggregates. According to this diagram, we are in the number two session. In the number two session, we have five aggregates. And ultimate truth, five aggregates. That is our life. Our life. As long as we have five aggregates, we have to be old age, sickness, and death. Old age is dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. Sickness is also dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. Death is dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. As long as we have five aggregate, we have to be old age, sickness, and death. Birth is suffering, old age is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. What one not desire is suffering. Desire, what one not desire is suffering. Separation from those who we love is suffering. Association with love is suffering. And breathe, five aggregate is suffering. So life is suffering. However, you reach, finally you have to give up all of properties and your life. Even your life, you have to give up. Later on, you have to give up. After giving up your properties and your life, you will die definitely. So life is suffering. At the end, you have to die definitely. However you reach, however you got many degrees, however you educated, you have to die definitely. Even though you are queen or king, you have to die definitely. So life is suffering. You have to understand. Life is suffering. So according to this diagram, we are in the number two session. We have five aggregates. That is called life. As long as we have five aggregates, we have to be old age, sickness, and death. So they are suffering, the noble truth of suffering. We have to understand the noble truth of suffering. Birth is suffering, old age is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. What one not desire is suffering. Association from those who love is suffering. Separation from those who we love is suffering. And breathe, five aggregate is suffering. Five aggregate is suffering. So this is five aggregates. Five aggregate. As long as we have five aggregate, these five aggregate is arising and passing away. Arising and passing away. Five aggregate is arising and passing away. So arising and passing away is the noble truth of suffering. The noble truth of suffering. Appearing and disappearing, arising and passing away, appearing and disappearing, arising and passing away. So this five aggregate is dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering we have to understand. Pass away, passing away. Yes, pass away. Yes, that is true, yes. As long as we have five aggregate, then five aggregate is arising and passing away, appearing and disappearing. So this is dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. We have the noble truth of suffering. Our life is the noble truth of suffering we have to understand. Our life is the noble truth of suffering. What is the cause of that suffering? Why do we have this suffering? Why do we have this suffering? Why do we have this suffering? Do you understand? Now we have life. That life is suffering. Why do we have suffering? Do you understand? Yes, that is our life is dukkha satya. Why do we have that dukkha satya? So look at this diagram. Why do we have this dukkha satya means? Here, the cause of this dukkha. This is dukkha satya. This is dukkha satya. This is life. This is five aggregate. That is dukkha satya. You have to understand the noble truth of dukkha, the noble truth of suffering. What is the cause of the noble truth of suffering? Why do we have this the noble truth of suffering? Because of this sankhara in the past. In the past, we had this sankhara. Sankhara means action. Good action, bad action, whatever action we have done in the past. If we did good action in the past, good life, good aggregates. If we had done bad action in the past, bad aggregate, bad life at present moment. Good sankhara, good life. Bad sankhara, bad life. Now, look at our life. Look at our life. If our life is good, maybe we have done good sankhara in the past. We can get result. We have to see ourselves. If our life is bad, maybe we have done bad sankhara in the past. Sankhara means meritorious deed. Meritorious deed and demeritorious deed. Meritorious deed, good, yes, good life. Demeritorious deed, bad life. Because of meritorious deed, we have good life. Because of demeritorious deed, we have bad life. We have to understand. So, depending on this sankhara, we have these five aggregate dukkha satya. Five aggregate dukkha satya. Five aggregate me dukkha satya. What is the cause of this dukkha, this aggregate? What is the cause of this life? According to this diagram, what is the cause of this life? According to this diagram, what is the cause of our life? Yes, sankhara is the cause of our life. What is the cause? What is the cause of sankhara? Sankhara. Yeah. What is the cause of that sankhara? What is the cause of that action? The cause of that action. Avijja, ignorance. Yes, ignorance is the cause of sankhara. Ignorance is the cause of action. Depending on this ignorance, we do this sankhara, good or bad action. Whatever action we do, that action is because of this ignorance. Depending on that ignorance, there arise actions. Depending on ignorance and action, there arise 5 aggregates. That 5 aggregate is dukkha satya. So, the cause of this 5 aggregate, the cause of this dukkha satya, the cause of suffering is avijja and sankhara, ignorance and action. Ignorance and actions are the cause of this dukkha, present dukkha. And the ignorance and action, this ignorance is main important. That is main point of this dukkha. That is the root of this dukkha. Ignorance is the root of present dukkha. Ignorance is the root of suffering. The root of suffering. Now we have 5 aggregates. This is our life. We have 5 aggregates. 5 aggregate means dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. Why do we have this suffering? Because of only one is avijja, only ignorance. Ignorance is the root of dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. The root of suffering. The root of present suffering is ignorance. So, now in the number 2 session, we are in the number 2 session. This is our life. This is our aggregate. Our life is the noble truth of suffering. The root, what is the root of suffering means? The root of suffering, the present root of suffering is called ignorance. We have to understand. So that ignorance is the root of present dukkha. The root of present dukkha. The root of present dukkha. The root of present suffering is ignorance. We have to understand. So here written avijja. Avijja only, not including tanha. Avijja only here, we have to write avijja only, not including tanha. So, why we are writing here at the middle of this diagram, why we are writing here means this avijja is the root of this diagram, one root of this diagram. So this is our life, our aggregate, our suffering. The main root of this present suffering is ignorance, avijja. So write it here, avijja. And then, because of this avijja, we have this dukkha. Continuously, when we study, now we have dukkha, suffering. Even though we have suffering, we don't understand suffering as suffering. We don't understand. We don't understand suffering as suffering. At the time, we crave for that suffering. We crave for that suffering. And then we have craving. Depending on that craving, we have clinging. Depending on that clinging, we have becoming. Depending on this becoming, there arise jati bhava. When we have this birth, old age and death are arising continuously. Jara Marana, old age and death. So, birth, old age and death are also suffering, dukkha satya. Dukkha satya. Birth is dukkha satya, the lower truth of suffering. Old age is dukkha satya, the lower truth of suffering. Death is dukkha satya, the lower truth of suffering. So, birth, old age, and death are dukkha satya, the lower truth of suffering. Actually, that is suffering. That suffering is in a future period, not present moment. That is future. That is future period, future suffering. We will have that suffering in the future, not yet right now. We will have that suffering in the future, next life or and next more and more many lives. In the future, we will have suffering. Future suffering, why we will have suffering in the future? At present moment, we have 5 aggregates. Even though we have 5 aggregates, we don't understand 5 aggregate is dukkha satya. The noble truth of suffering as the noble truth of suffering. We don't understand suffering as suffering. When we don't understand suffering as suffering, we think this is happiness. This is happiness. We don't know this is suffering. We think life is happiness. When we think life is happiness, we crave for that life. We crave for that life. At that time, we have craving. As long as we have craving, depending on craving, there arise clinging, depending on clinging, there arise becoming. Depending on becoming, birth, Buddhist, and death, the noble truth of suffering. What is the root of future suffering? What is the root of future suffering? Yeah, next slide. What is the root of future suffering? What is the cause of future suffering? Yes, what is the cause of dukkha satya? Future dukkha satya. What is the cause of future dukkha satya means that now craving. The now craving. This craving is the cause of future dukkha. This craving is the root of future dukkha. Why do we have future dukkha? Because of this tanha, because of this craving, because of this craving. As long as we have craving, we will have dukkha in the future. When you have craving, you will have dukkha in the future. You will have suffering in the future. And little craving, little dukkha. More craving, more dukkha. No craving, no dukkha. If we don't want no dukkha, if we don't want dukkha, suffering, if we don't want suffering, and again, we have to remove this craving. We have to remove this craving. We have to eliminate this craving. We have to get rid of this craving. This is main important. So, this craving is the root of future dukkha, the root of future suffering. The root of future suffering is tanha, craving. The root of present suffering is avijja. The root of future suffering is tanha. The root of present suffering is avijja. So we are writing avijja and tanha at the middle of this diagram. No. Avijja is the root of present dukkha. Tanha is the root of future dukkha. Tanha is the root of future dukkha. Avijja is the root of present dukkha. So, avijja and tanha. That's why we are writing at the middle point. Why we are writing avijja and tanha at the middle point? Or avijja is the root of present dukkha. Tanha is the root of future dukkha. They are two roots. That's why they are writing at the middle. They are making problem in this world. Avijja gives present dukkha. Tanha gives future dukkha. In this world, the creator of dukkha is only two. The creator of dukkha. Creator of dukkha, avijja and tanha. In this world, the world is fighting each other. The world is fighting each other, making problem. And this country is making problem. And people say, in reality, no, people are making problem. They are not creating problem. Their avijja and their tanhas are creating problem. The creator of problems are avijja and tanha. Ignorance and craving. We have to understand. As long as we have ignorance and craving, we will have suffering. Avijja creates suffering, tanha creates suffering. Avijja and tanha are creator of suffering, creator of problem. We have to understand. Nowadays, the world is getting into trouble. Why is that? Because of ignorance and craving. Ignorance means not understanding the true Dhamma, not understanding reality. Not understanding reality, not understanding the true Dhamma is called ignorance. Because of that ignorance, we have suffering at present. We have suffering at present. Even though we have suffering, if we don't understand suffering as suffering, we will crave for that suffering. When do we crave that suffering? At the time we have craving. As long as we have craving, depending on that craving, and clinging, becoming, born, old age, and death, we are continuously goes on continuously. So goes on continuously. We have to understand, and that is very important. And as long as we have craving, we have suffering. Because of suffering, we suffer a lot. And because of craving, we suffer a lot. That craving is creator of suffering. Creator of suffering, we have to understand. Creator of sufferings are ignorance and craving, we have to understand. Ignorance is creator of present suffering. Craving is creator of future suffering. We have to understand. So, ignorance is the root of present suffering. Craving is the root of future suffering. We have to understand. So, there are two in the root, according to this diagram. And there are two in the root. That is 2 in the root. So 2 in the root. When you see 2 in the root, avijja and dana, that is very easy. But to understand reality, it is difficult. Avijja and dana is not enough. That is not enough. You have to understand 12 factors. Without understanding 12 factors, you cannot understand 2 in the root. I cannot explain you to understand 2 in the root. No, that is not yet. I haven't teaching you. That is different. 2 in the truth means 2 truth. 2 truth. 2 kinds of truth. No, Veja is not the truth. Dana is not the truth. So 2 in the truth means truth. How many truth do you understand? How many truth? What are they? What are they? No, that is not true. That is not the truth. It is also not true. The four noble truth I have already teach you. Yes, that is true. They are not true. The four noble truth yes, that is true. The four noble truth, among the four noble truth, now here only two true. Only two. Yeah, among the four, I need only two. What are the two? Which are the two? I don't want four. I want only two. Yes, only two. I need only two. I don't need four. No, that is not true. you are reciting, chanting by looking at the diagram. No. Among the four noble truths, I need only two. I have already taught you four, but I don't want that four. Among the four, I need only two. I need only two. So, in order to understand two in the truth, no? Two in the truth. In this diagram, here, avijja is samudaya satya. No? Samudaya satya. What is the samudaya satya? Yes. What is the meaning of samudaya satya? The cause of suffering. Samudaya satya means the cause of suffering. I have already teach you the first day, on the first day. Samudaya satya means the cause of suffering. The noble truth of the cause of suffering. No. Samudaya satya means the noble truth of the cause of suffering. This is only one. Cessation of suffering is not included here. You are recited, not included here. Here you can see where is cessation of suffering. No, cessation of suffering is not dukkha satya. Yeah. Just recite it. Now you don't think any other. You see what I'm explaining. That is very important. Otherwise you will be confused. Now you're confusing. So samudaya satya. Satya means noble truth. Samudaya means the cause of suffering. Noble truth of the cause of suffering, that is called samudaya satya. That is samudaya satya. Dukkha satya, what is the meaning of dukkha satya? And the noble truth of suffering. What is samudaya satya? What is dukkha satya? What is samudaya satya? What is dukkha? What is this? Yes, what is this? The cause of suffering, suffering, the cause of suffering, suffering, the noble truth of the cause of suffering, the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of the cause of suffering, the noble truth of suffering. How many noble truths? No, only two. Only two. Yes, they are the same, no? They are the same. Two noble truth. That's why true and the true. Here, doubted, yeah. Doubted. Uh, True and the true. No, four and the true. True and the true. That's why you may make a mistake. That's why true and the truth happen. And this is the title, no? So I'm explaining only two words. Only one word I have already finished. Two in the root. Two in the root already finished. That is one word. The second one is two in the truth. Two in the truth mean what are the two in the truth? Smurya Saja and Lokha Saja. Yeah, that is only it. What are the noble truth of the cause of suffering means? No. No. Not in a hurry. Not in a hurry. Uh, no. This Samurya, what are the Samurya, the noble truth of the cause of suffering means at first? Avijja, ignorance. That ignorance is, as long as you have ignorance, that is the cause of suffering. As long as you have ignorance, that is the cause of suffering. Ignorance makes you suffering. That sankhara, that is also the cause of suffering. Whatever you do, you will get into trouble. Whatever you do, good or bad. Good sankhara, you do good sankhara, good life, dukkha satya. Bad sankhara, bad life, dukkha satya. No. Dukkha satya. Good sankhara, good life, good dukkha. Bad sankhara, bad life, bad dukkha. Good life is also dukkha. Bad life is also dukkha. So, however you reach, finally you have to die definitely. Yes, you have to give up. No, you cannot give up death. You have to give up life. Yes, you have to give up life. You cannot give up death. You cannot give up death. You have to die life by life. You have to face it. You have to face that death. However, we reach, we have to die definitely. So that is dukkha. That is dukkha. That is dukkha. So, how many degrees we have learned, and finally we have to die definitely. So that is also dukkha satya. Dukkha satya. Even the king, they have to die definitely. Even the queen and UK, no? United Kingdom, the queen of Elizabeth, she has to die. No? She also died. Yes. That's why that is dukkha. Life is dukkha. No? Life is dukkha. We have to understand. So whatever sankhara you do, you have dukkha. You will have dukkha. So avijja and sankharas are the causes of dukkha. the root of dukkha, the causes of dukkha. That's why writing included in the Smudaya Satya, the cause of suffering. We call Avijja and Sankharas are the causes of suffering, the causes of suffering. 5 aggregates are suffering. Tanha, Upadana, Bhavas are the causes of suffering. Jati, Jara, Maranas are suffering. Avijja and Sankharas are the cause of suffering. 5 aggregates are suffering. Tanha, Upadana, Kama, Bhavas are the causes of suffering. Jati, Jara, Maranas are suffering. We have to understand. So that is called true and the true. True and the true. We have to understand true and the true. So today, then I'm explaining true and the root and true and the true. How to cycle this diagram by way of dependent origination, you have to understand. And for the meditators, this is not enough for the meditators. And when you understand how to cycle this diagram by way of true and the root, by way of true and the truth, and you have to learn how to stop this diagram. That is also very important. How to cut this diagram, how to stop this diagram by way of dependent origination. That is also very important, but you may not understand. And when I explain you may not understand how to cut this diagram. And that is very important for the meditators, those who are practicing insight meditation. That is necessary for the meditators. And right now, even though I'm explaining you cannot understand. That is difficult. Practicing meditation is needed. When you practice meditation, you may understand automatically. So, I cannot explain you how to stop this diagram. Now, what I'm explaining is how to cycle this diagram, how to revolve this diagram by way of Paticcasamuppada, dependent origination. Today, I have already taught you true and the root and true and the true. If you understand these 2 words, it is enough for today. Okay, today 48 minutes. Let's stop just here. Okay. သူကတော်တော်မလွယ်တာပဲเนาะသူက